Time is running out. Are you ready? Hi, I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Kylene, and we are the Provident Preppers. Jonathan and I have been very concerned about what lies ahead in our future. Everywhere we look, there's all kinds of reports of different big challenges that we need to be prepared to face. And one of our great concern is for our viewers, and we love and we appreciate you, and we want to work as a community so that we are all ready. So Jonathan and I have spent some time and developed a list of things that we think would be a really good idea to put your time and energy into because of what lies ahead in the future. So, Jonathan, I think we should get started.
Let's do it. Because time is really running out. We just never know when these kinds of crises are going to hit. Think back a year to COVID. It was like almost overnight, our world changed, and it's going to happen again in the future. Who knows when, but we need to prepare so we don't have regrets.
A period of stormy weather is on our horizon, and it would be wise to prepare to ride out the storm.
Preparing now provides protection and comfort during the storm. We have to be prepared to weather these storms. The future is really very bright and optimistic, but we have to take steps to make it so. Some of the potential challenges that we are seeing are, first of all, economic kinds of things. Inflation.
And I've already seen that. So at the beginning of COVID, when we stocked up on some peanut butter, I went back and we just slowly keep replenishing that supply, and it's gone up like $3 a bottle since I originally purchased it.
Right. There's also shortages out there, and if you're not looking at the lumber business, prices have gone through the roof because of shortages. There's just not enough materials, and the prices have gone crazy. There's also things like supply chain disruptions. Now, we experienced a lot of that during COVID, but there's still those things happening, and there's more to come. There's health issues on the horizon as well as natural disasters, potentially civil unrest.
Potentially? Look around.
Yeah.
There is a lot of civil unrest right now.
There is. And the potential for war and things like famine.
We've painted this picture. We want you to know why you should do this. But now we're going to give you the list. We're going to help you understand what you need to prepare for now. We accepted a crazy challenge about 2 years ago where we decided that for 90 days we would not go to the grocery store and we wouldn't go out to eat. We learned so much during that challenge, and you don't have to be as crazy as we are, but take some time to evaluate where you are now and what you need to do to become more self-reliant. This is the shopping list that when we were close to the end and we were so excited about going shopping, this is what everybody put on our refrigerator as our shopping list.
You can see that chocolate chips and ice cream are in big capitalized letters.
They are. He's mocking me.
Yes,
anyway,
I am.
But so make your list. Make a physical list. As you go through these things with us, just take a piece of paper and write down what comes to your mind and where you think you need to improve.
And increase your level of self-reliance by building some skills, stocking up on whatever you might need, and producing as much food as you can on your own.
During that 90-day challenge, this plate of food is one of the ones that we had during that time. So we were very blessed because we have this huge garden. And so while we were living very meagerly off of our food storage, we had so much fresh fruit and vegetables to supplement it that we were really doing okay. We just needed more chocolate.
All right, so let's get started. You got your paper ready? Let's do this. The first category is skills and knowledge. What are the skills that you have or that you would like to develop? Things that would be truly useful. And what is your knowledge base? And does that need to be expanded?
One of the things that we found out on that 90-day no shopping challenge that we did was the value of community. High on your priority list, it would be really good for you to figure out where you have your community of skills and resources. For instance, Ben really wanted fresh milk because we didn't have any of that during our challenge. And so he took the initiative to talk to one of our friends who happened to have a milking cow, and Ben went and milked this cow once a week in exchange for fresh fruits and vegetables out of our garden. If you look right now and discover where those resources might be and build those relationships, you will be so much better off when challenges come, and it will improve the quality of your life right now.
And in that same vein, be a good neighbor. Find out where you can help and the people that you can keep an eye on to help make sure your community is safe.
During that 90-day challenge, a lot of our friends were very worried about us, which they didn't need to be, but they just couldn't imagine that we would do such a crazy thing. And these are some of our neighbors who decided to bring over some of their garden produce to share with us. And what a blessing it is when we can all work together and take care of each other. The ability to work hard is definitely a skill that needs to be developed. In our society now, a lot of times things are really easy for us and we haven't learned how really to put in a full day of good, hard work. So that's a skill that we want to work on, along with the ability and mental state to be willing to sacrifice for future needs or for the good of others.
And sometimes we just need to learn to live on less, make do with what we've got, or perhaps do without.
And the beans and rice is very symbolic of that. You can live for a long time on beans and rice, and these are some Cuban black beans that we make over white rice. It's actually an incredibly delicious meal that costs very, very little. Do you know the basic skills that you would need to survive, such as cooking? How about baking? Benjamin in our 90-day challenge wanted these rolls, and he became really good at making potato rolls. Even though he's young, right? You can develop these skills and teach our family them. Sewing, self-defense, home repair, auto repair. And I feel that some of the most valuable skills are in food production. Being able to garden, raise chickens or animals, and preserve that food. Skills like this just don't develop overnight. You really have to make a conscious effort to practice and to learn them. And there are so many good mentors. I am happy when somebody calls me or wants to come over and learn how to garden or wants to learn how to preserve something. I love sharing that knowledge with them. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask for some help learning these skills.
We encourage you to avoid debt. Live on less than you earn and build some savings that may be a blessing for you in a time of crisis.
And take care of your health now. This is something that really has come to the forefront for us. We had a few different things that we were putting off taking care of because of COVID, and we decided we just can't do that anymore. We need to make sure that we are up to date on taking care of our health. So eat right, exercise, get those routine medical and dental exams completed, and if you need to take care of something, get it done.
The second main category is food storage and supplies.
Developing a 3-month supply of everyday shelf-stable food should be a high priority. This is something that we call a working pantry. We created a video called Newbie Prep Step 6, Building Your Short-Term Food Supply. I'll leave a link so that you can access this video. But seriously, it talks about different ways that you can go about this, but not having to go to the store for 3 months, having all the supplies that you need in your own home could be incredibly valuable no matter what the crisis is, whether it's a natural disaster or inflation or economic crisis, anything. This is a foundational thing that every home should have. So really, really get to work on this.
Along with that 3-month supply, make sure that you have a long-term survival food storage, things like rice and beans, those things that will sustain you over a long period of time.
These provide the basic caloric requirements, and so you could supplement just these basics with what you're growing in your garden. A lot of them will store for many years, 20, 30 years, but they have to be packaged correctly. So make sure we've got these links in the description of this video, and we've got videos along with posts that will teach you how to do this correctly. But man, what a blessing, what hunger insurance this would be to have a good long-term survival food supply in your own home. Whose cute kids are those anyway?
They look kind of like me, don't they?
Yes, they do. Sanitation supplies. Okay, we saw this at the beginning of COVID, right? Toilet paper was nowhere to be found for any price. So don't neglect the basic sanitation supplies. Other things that were really hard to find: hand soap, hand sanitizer, masks, all those disinfectants. Take some time and create a list of the things that you might need. And I actually recommend a year's supply of sanitation supplies, except for the toilet paper. Most of them don't take up very much room, but they are really critical because most of them aren't things you can actually produce yourself.
And yes, you're going to hear it from us again. Make sure that you have that emergency water storage. These water prepared barrels are amazing.
They are.
But they're also a little bit pricey. If that doesn't work for you, find some other ways to get the job done, including repurposing juice containers or whatever you need to do. Click the card in the corner for lots of ideas and help on doing that.
All right, now medical supplies. What things do you need to have in your home to make sure that you can take care of your family if it's not available for you at the store? So think about this. You know, first aid kit, pain relievers. We've got this fantastic post all about over-the-counter meds that you really should stock. So look in the description of the video because I will leave that there. But prescription meds, if you are on some chronic meds, do whatever you can do to stock up a little bit in advance. And we've got some good ways to do that that's discussed in that other video or in the other post. Now, diagnostic tools, when I say that, I'm talking about things like an oxygen saturation monitor. People who have had issues with COVID, for instance, and breathing, sometimes you don't know how sick you really are. You don't know whether or not to go to the doctor. An oxygen sat is just that little thing that they clip on your finger and it'll tell you how much oxygen you have in your blood, so if it's down low, you're gonna need to run right into the doctor and get help. But if it's still fairly high, you're probably safe to wait for a little while, but you're not gonna know that if you don't have the tool. So an O2 sat monitor, a blood pressure monitor, and a thermometer, a good thermometer, and a stethoscope are all things that would be a really good idea to have in with your medical supplies, along with some kind of backup power if you are dependent upon some type of medical equipment.
The next category is things that will help you prepare for a power outage. Having the ability to cook and heat, do your laundry, communicate, those things are critically important.
We did this super cool 30-day grid down cooking challenge where I couldn't cook with any type of electricity or natural gas for 30 days. It was a huge pain in the hind parts. However, we learned so much from this. We did it in the month of November, so we even had to cook Thanksgiving dinner, not only for ourselves, but for all of our guests using alternative cooking means. And so I'll leave a post to this, but click the card in the corner and we'll take you to that playlist for that challenge. And it was a really good experience for us. And again, the whole heating thing, the lessons learned in Texas, we created a video on that, preparing to live without power during the winter. It's just really important.
We briefly mentioned backup power for critical needs. The first thing you need to decide is what are those critical needs? You probably won't be able to run everything in your home, and not everything in your home is a critical need, but those things that are critical, make sure that you have some ability to provide that energy to get that done.
And a good example of that is if you are on oxygen, you need to be able to power your oxygen concentrator and have the ability, and like a CPAP machine, something like that. So make sure you really look at this and decide what kind of backup power you need. I love these hybrid lights. So when it comes to backup lighting, we actually did a power outage challenge in January, right? And that was when I had my little kids, and we decided that we wanted to see if we could survive in the dead of winter without electricity. One of the things I learned about lighting was originally we had decided to use candles, and suddenly the kids were sticking everything that was flammable into the candles, and it was a huge fire risk. When you're looking at alternative lighting, glow sticks are a great comfort for kids, but they're short term. Things that use up batteries, eventually you're going to run out of batteries, right? But these hybrid lights are really cool because they're renewable. We keep them in a window and just charge them inside of a window in our homes so that they're always ready, and they can be used for many years. So look at your backup lighting. If you do want to go to hybrid lights, if you use the promo code Provident, they will give you 20% off. And like I said, these truly are my favorite. I love how I can charge my cell phone and other devices using the little USB ports that are charged through these solar panels.
And make sure you stock up on the basics. You can see I had a little bit of a blowout here. Some shoe goo helps to fix that, at least for a little while. Making sure you have shoelaces, things like socks and underwear, durable clothing, as we probably will need to be doing some harder work, some gloves, work hats, whatever those things are, make sure you have them.
And as our friends in Texas found out, warm clothing for each member of your family is really important. When that polar vortex moved in, they weren't used to really cold weather, and so they just weren't prepared, and you can completely understand it. When you live in cold country like we do, this is just natural because you use these things all the time. Take some time and look at what potentially your family might need and get whatever you need to keep them warm.
And take some time to secure your home. Look at the places that you may need to beef things up a little bit and make sure that your home can be a haven and a safe place for you and your family.
Because things are getting a little bit crazy out there, right? And there's no way to completely protect your home. If somebody wants access to it, they can just drive some big piece of machinery right through the front door and they're going to gain access. We want to do the best that we can to create layers of protection to make sure that our family is safe within our home.
In all these things, our goal is to act out of wisdom, not out of fear. We don't want to be motivated by the fear. We encourage you not to go into debt. Take reasonable steps to take care of the ones that you love.
I love this quote. It came in an email from a friend of ours named Val, and she does a great job of helping other people become more prepared. And a lot of times you, as preppers, we get this flack, saying, oh, why are you doing this? You don't need to do this. But her favorite response is, if I'm wrong, I can eat my mistake. What will you do if you are wrong? It's kind of something to think about. Time is running out. We don't want to be doomsdayers, and that is something we really try to stay away from, the sensationalism that surrounds prepping a lot. We seriously want to encourage you to take advantage of the opportunity that you still have left to build your supplies, to gain skills before they are vital to your survival. So think about this. What can you do today to ensure your comfort and safety for tomorrow?
We encourage you to move forward with faith. Just as the sand is going through this hourglass, time is passing us by. Make sure that you make the world a better place because you are a part of it and because you are preparing for the future. And now for the question of the day. What are you doing to prepare for upcoming challenges? Comment below. And thanks for being part of the solution.